Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 534. It's recorded today on June 26, 2025. On this week's episode, it's me, Casey Cool, as your host. I'm a kind of a cool guy that's on the show from time to time. You get to hear my takes on the Switch 2, Digital Foundry Switch 2 subpar display analysis. We're going to also talk about its new storage space and the games we played, and of course, the most important part, your questions. Jesse, hit me with the theme song.
What's up, everybody? This is the Nintendo Dads, and I get to do the intro and the hosting and all that kind of stuff because Justin and Marty aren't here. So they let the what is it? The crazies run the asylum. So here we are.
Yes. With broken into the Arkham Asylum.
Yes. How's it going, Casey? It's been a while. How you been?
Been far too long. I'm doing great. Happy to be here to talk video games with you guys and Switch 2.
Yes. And it's summertime, so you got some more time to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've been free. I'm free at last. This school year was a tough one. I'm happy to be out and back and doing my thing and just, piddling my time to get my Switch 2 on the hunt.
Nice. Yeah, we're going to be asking you about that too, for sure. And Jesse, how's your week been going?
It's been up and down. We talked a little bit in pre-show, but I had a vaccination on Tuesday, and it just took me out on Wednesday. So I actually had to take a half day off, took a nap. But when I woke up from that, I felt a lot better. So today has been a normal day. Did my normal gym routine. I was actually in the mood for some ice cream, so I did that before we started recording.
Nice.
So I think it's a sign that I'm feeling better.
Definitely when you can do things normally, for sure. It sounds like you're doing better there. So we got actually a lot to cover today. So there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I was surprised how much news you were able to squeeze out of whatever we got.
Yeah, that's thanks to Marty when he put together the weekly notes for updates. I pulled from there what he thought we would talk about, and that's what we have. So without further ado, let's jump into the news.
I wasn't ready yet.
All right. The news and the ad-free version of this podcast is brought to you by patreon.com and /Nintendo Dads. Huge thanks to all our Patreons for helping us create more great Nintendo Dads content and for making our community a better place, including our newest Patreons, Eric Plunk, and an anonymous Patreon producer. Thank you to both of those peeps for being Patreon subscriber, and thanks to all of our Patreons and all our subscribers, even on the Twitch side too. Thank you for all of those. But for the Patreons, they're the ones who sponsor us on our news. Did you guys know we had anonymous donors?
Trying to be careful how I word this. I saw it come in and wasn't sure how to handle it, so I just left it off the notes. But I'm okay with how this was handled.
Yeah, good, awesome. So that is pretty cool, and you can be an anonymous Patreon too. If you don't want your name announced, you can let us know by email when you subscribe. You can let us know, hey, I subscribe, but I don't want to be announced. If you want to be anonymous. So, but they also, the Patreon producer who did it anonymously didn't want all of the other stuff. So they're not going to be like taking all the extras. They just wanted to support the Nintendo Dads. So, but you too can be anonymous, or you can get your name put in lights if you'd like. So, but thank you to everybody who subscribes to us on patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. All right, let's jump right into the news here, which is the first headline is Digital Foundry says that Switch 2 is an impressive upgrade marred by subpar display. So the bad, easily worse than the 2017 Switch's display is what they said. An edge lit LCD that barely tops out at 220 nits will never deliver anything like a decent high dynamic range experience with the signature HDR contrast and highlights almost completely absent in handheld play. And then the last thing of note that they said is there are clear problems with the Switch 2's VRR, which is the variable refresh rate functionality too. Before I jump into the good stuff, because we like to end things on the good, what do you guys think of that?
Well, we did know that we did know they had VRR problems when they took it out of a lot of their modes on their website. Like they pretty much limited it to handheld mode, which apparently doesn't work well anyway. But I play 99% docked, so this doesn't really affect me at all. But I know I did see a poll, might have been Spawn Wave, might have been someone else that I watched, I don't remember, but it was like a 40-60, so close to a half-half. I think the 40 was handheld and 60 docked. So more people are still playing it docked, but still, that is too bad about the screen. And
yeah, kind of like he's talking about it tops out at 40-20 nits. He's talking when it's removed from the dock, right? Not on the TV.
Handheld mode, yeah.
Yeah, because dock.
He's talking about the subpar display.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's not subpar, because your eyes shouldn't, like, anywhere from 100 to 400. My understanding is fine for your eyes, right? Like what your eyes should take in, and like if you're outside, it should be 400 to 700. This is what in football terms I would call, or in fantasy football, when a guy takes like a player they think is really, really good, and they could have probably gotten him 7 rounds later. This is a reach. This guy just wants. I'm not into this article because he's definitely getting attention, and maybe the refresh rate's fine, but like you're kind of splitting hairs here, because I had to research what a nit was when I saw this article to recall it's. Do you think the average person knows the nits? Like they're looking at it and going, this is 300 nits. No, it's off now. It's off one. No one's keeping track of that. Like they pay attention to storage. They're paying attention. FPS is important because you're talking about frame rate. I get that. People get that. But no, like if you care about nits that much, you probably smell your own farts and like them. That's what I think of this article.
Wow.
Yeah. This guy farts in a wine glass, sniffs it, and goes, And it just reeks of pretentiousness to me. That's all.
I was just doing some searches here, and 420 sounds high compared to like the Switch. The base, the base
does sound high. That was maybe immature. Sorry.
Okay, because I knew that nits is associated with brightness, but I don't know what number is what. So that's what I was looking up. Like the normal Switch is just under 300. The OLED is closer to 350 to 370. So if it really is 420, that sounds good. But
420 is great.
But the issue that I heard, Spawnwave said he had a conversation with MG. Again, I mention him all the time, and I can never remember his name. Like he ported the Shantae game to Switch basically, but so he knows his stuff. But they like Mario, like the Super Nintendo Mario Kart, or Mario World, they ran fast, and they said, "Now look at the background when you do this," and it was kind of a blurry, muddy mess. And he goes, "Yeah, that doesn't look right. Once you see that, you can't unsee that." So
Darth Platypus in our chat says, "Why, yes, this machine doesn't produce as many nits as my $5,000 TV. Unacceptable."
Well, yeah, I don't expect it to. Like I don't know. I don't know what this monitor outputs. I don't know what my TV. Definitely not $5,000. I think I spent $300 for 400 on it, but definitely I can tell it's a 4K and the HDR works. I can tell that when I play other media.
Yeah, I like some of that. I get that, and I get there's certain tech specs, but like I think Jesse's pretty tech savvy. Like he knows quite a bit about specs, and Tim, you do as well. And for all of us to go, knit, and have to really do research on that. I know my level of understanding of things, and it's very nerdy. This is just a level of pretension. Like, what does he want? Like a tanning bed blasting in his face as
we could be tech savvy, but also, like, for me, I'll say from my perspective,
yeah.
A lot of times when I'm reading about technology, especially in the mobile area with displays, I hear or read about a lot about the nits, but I actually don't care about the nits. So it's like, oh, I'll read about it. And it's like, okay, I don't care. And I really don't know much about it because I don't care about the nits. I don't care how well it's going to display for me in that area. Is it going, my thing for when I was looking at the Switch 2 and heard about the 60 FPS or better, is that's what I want out of my game on a handheld, in the handheld. Yes. Would I want that on my TV? Yes. I want that from my PlayStation. Would I would love that on the TV from the Nintendo? Yes.
I want smooth running.
I've wanted that for years. Finally, I'm getting it. That's all I wanted. I wanted consistency too, right? I don't want to hear this game is 60 FPS. This one's not. I want them all to be 60 FPS. They all should be. And then I was watching something earlier today. A guy was like, Dreamcast in 1999 had games that were consistently 60 FPS. Why are we waiting for it still in 2025 for consistent at 60 frames per second?
Well, I can probably answer some of that.
Okay.
Back then we were doing 480i, maybe 480p video processing. So it takes a lot more video processing to render that versus a 4K display.
Fair point.
And you're still trying to squeeze that into 33 milliseconds or 16 milliseconds.
Very fair point. But still, it's like,
well, we do have faster processors as we did 25 years ago. It's not that much fast. It's not as fast as it needs to be to get a 4K 60 consistently across everything. And of course,
well, I'm not looking for 4K. I'm looking for, if you can't get 4K 60, then give me 1080p 60.
Well, the gamers don't want it. The gamers want, they can say, screw the resolution, I want the frame rate, and that's fine. Back in the in the 90s when we played StarCraft,
the late 1900s,
people would play it.
When your kids say that to you, like, "Oh, were you born in the 1900s?" and you melt in your chair a little bit, you're like, "Oh no."
Well, people could play at 480i or 480p. People would normally set it at 240 just to get the higher frame rate.
Yes.
Because you want the frame rate.
But
it's the hardware manufacturers, Microsoft and Sony specifically, that are wanting to push. Oh, look how pretty this is! Look how good this looks in a screenshot. Look at this reflection. We don't care. We want gameplay that works.
Well, there are people who want the pretty, right? First.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, there are, but I'd say most of the gamers do not.
Right. So. Yeah, for me overall, though, I think that what I was trying to get at was, like, when I got the Switch 2 in my hands, and Casey, I know you're still, like you said at the beginning, you're trying to get to the point of getting one. So, and we'll talk about that more soon. But I'm thinking when you get yours in your hands too, it's like going to be fantastic, right? Because it's that's what it was for me when I opened it up, started playing games on it, especially when I fired up Tears of the Kingdom. It was just like, oh, this is great in handheld mode. And that's where I mainly play is handheld mode. So
same, because my wife likes to watch smut and I don't enjoy, not smut, just brain rot. And or both. I don't know.
There's a difference there. But hey,
one does not necessarily mean it's not the other.
Correct. Yes. So no, for me, like with the knit things, and like you said, Tim, like it's kind of like you don't care. I don't care either. I think of that internet meme. There's the comic where they're like a person yelling at a room, and they're like, then the second, like he keeps saying all these things about how horrible it is, and then the last one's like, "Quit having fun," and they're all ignoring him. It's just someone just telling us to quit having fun. Okay, man, you can be angry as you want. I'm gonna enjoy my Nintendo thing. Haters gonna hate. You know,
Well,
move
for
on.
Digital Foundry, though, I do respect their analysis, though, that they.
Oh,
that they
yeah,
do.
it's still important. You know, I do appreciate the information. It's just,
Yeah.
again, in this case, it doesn't really affect me because the games that I'm not going to play a high action game handheld. The last time I tried, my fingers almost fell off. You know, and that was Metroid 2 on the DS, on the 3DS. What games will I play handheld? Picross. Longer term RPGs that are turn based, Dragon Quest, Persona,
Three
things
houses
like that.
again. No.
Things I don't need, you know, so I don't have to worry about, is that background looking muddy? Because I don't care. I'm not looking at the background, I'm looking at the battle. And it's a slow paced battle, so I can think.
So some of the good things, they did mention some good things that they about the Switch 2, and that was the bigger screen can make for more immersive experience. The color reproduction is significantly improved over the original model.
This was posted somewhere in a European article, I guess.
And the number of games that either run at native 1080p in handheld mode, like Mario Kart World, for example, or use DLSS to upscale to 1080p. There's a large number of games that do that. So either one of those. So in summary,
I
was going to say, in summary, real quick, this is the original Switch revised and refined into a generally more pleasing and more effective unit, delivering a proper generational upgrade with highly impressive efficiency.
Right. I also think that because they're saying nice things too. Digital Foundry does do good work. I don't want to hit on it. I think that's like we're splitting hairs on things at this point. Like we want to be objective as possible. This could possibly be a little bit better. Sure, I don't think to the layman it's that important. But the other thing, the last thing, the good could have been just it has a new Mario Kart. If that was just the sentence, I'd be like, yes, I agree. Like, oh, excellent. Right? Like there's certain things you just have to say, like like the Switch 2 is selling itself, but I think they're just trying to be fair and balanced, which is unheard of in media journalism today. So good job for them.
So one of the things I got out of this though too was that, yep, there's room for a couple years down the road, 3 years down the road, we'll probably get an OLED version with a little bit of a spec bump somewhere. And that would be here, right? Where the OLED version or the better screen version would allow in handheld mode to have the HDR functionality a little bit better, or the VRR stuff actually running on handheld mode. So, and then they can tout, oh, it's got OLED, and now it actually has VRR in OLED in handheld.
The pirates
mode.
say hi.
Yes, the VAR. So that's what I thought of too. All right.
Right. So breaking news, as I mentioned ice cream earlier, Nintendo NCL just tweeted that there's a Super Mario crossover with Baskin Robbins in Japan.
They're doing man, Baskin Robbins is also doing with One Piece, and I wish Baskin Robbins would step up its game here. Do the crossovers here.
Well, they did the Cold Stone Creamery thing with them.
Yes,
2 years back.
I did eat that years ago.
Yeah.
That was all right. Actually, there was 3 flavors for that, and my son got one, my daughter got the Kirby one, and then I got the other one. We had all 3. I'm trying to remember. One was Mario, and what was the third one? Oh man, that should be a good Jeopardy question. But yeah, sorry.
No problem. No, that's good breaking news. Maybe they'll have something going on over here soon for the summer. You would think they would too, especially.
Mecca goes, why are those events always in Japan?
They gotta have something, especially because when there's a new console, there's usually like some restaurant, fast food place, or drinks have a way to win that console, right? So what were you thinking, Casey?
It's Animal Crossing. It came to me. I was like, all right, hold on. He was like, I'm not going to Google it. I'm not going to Google it. And my friend's watching, and he sent me a text on my phone. And he goes, it was Animal Crossing. Yeah. Thanks, Eric.
All right. Well, we touched
on
real-time
fact checking.
We touched on Mario Kart World a little bit here when talking about Digital Foundry's screen analysis. But there's also more about Mario Kart World in the news, and that is Nintendo gives answers as to why non-Mario characters weren't included in Mario Kart World. It was with talking to the director, they said it would have seemed incongruous. Did I say that right?
Incongruent?
Incongruous, yeah. It's
incongruous to add characters from other games to this universe. It didn't seem necessary given everything we could already do with Mario. There are so many characters and so many costumes that there should be something for everyone.
But then like,
are you laughing at what Quag said there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Quag. So, but yeah, they were just talking about there's no, Zelda characters. No, there's none of the other characters that were in Mario Kart 8. Splatoon characters, cars. So people are wondering why isn't there any non-Mario characters? I think a lot of people were also half expecting a Mario Kart Ultimate of sorts.
Sure.
What do you guys think?
Or like a Nintendo cart.
Yes.
I mean,
we've joked
they
at that
already
before.
did this, right? With they already did this with Link. This is where I might be the kid in class, like, teacher, you already had a game without a Nintendo character in it, or a Mario character in it. So let's just put it in, or just say. I guess his reason is maybe they just want to keep it just Mario World characters. Maybe he kind of thought it was ridiculous, and he can't say that. I'm okay with that too. Mario's got a lot of people like, yeah.
It still doesn't mean we can't have this in the future with DLC.
Yeah.
So I think it's
paper
fine.
Mario characters. Let's keep pulling Mario characters out of nowhere.
Yeah, get that pen set out there, driving a cart.
Yeah. I think it's possible. You guys talked about the DLC, that it's possible that when we get newer games, like the speculation about Donkey Kong, Bonanza, getting an update to Mario Kart World, so you can play some of those characters from that game in the Mario Kart World. There'll either be an update or there'll be a DLC, and whether or not that's free or not, we'll see. Could be the first one's free and the other ones you pay for, kind of like the Piranha Plant.
Yeah.
So,
or if you pay online, right, you get it for free, right?
Well, yeah, if you get the Mario Kart on, NSO, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, yep. So it'll be quite interesting.
Darth Platypus says, "If Fishbone can drive, anyone can." And I said, "Goomba Stack."
That would be funny.
And Friendo says 8-bit Mario in all his blocky glory.
Yes.
Every lap you get more Goombas in your stack.
And then, so there's more about Mario Kart World in the news. Some people are very upset about the latest patch we got. And thanks to the article that Mikey shared in the Discord, I learned more about this, that people are not happy about the fix they just launched. Was that today or yesterday? Nintendo fixed a bug, a glitch in the game where online players could select random for the starting course, allowing those in the race to opt out of the intermission tracks and given the classic 3-lap Mario Kart course experience. So basically it was, you basically jumped from course to course rather than racing to that course. If I understood that right. Nintendo designed the game to randomly pick nearby courses to race to. Near the course they just raced at, players are upset the classic option was removed. So now it's, instead of being able to possibly get Rainbow Road that was nowhere near the course you were racing on, you may not get Rainbow Road anymore. So that's why people are kind of upset about that. Blades SD says, I think it's bad to take away people's options. I know Marty was asking people to pick random during community play, and that's when I found out about it. And I preferred 3-track race as well. I find the tracks more interesting than the interconnected world. However, to play devil's advocate, Jamie in our Discord also said, Nintendo wants everyone to play game as they had made it, is the question. playing devil's advocate here, but if that's the intention, then Nintendo wanted for their game, then we're right to fix it. People are not accepting of. Did I say we're right? They're right to fix it. People are not accepting of the changes. Mario Kart has always been 3 laps around a course for the past 30 years. World changes things, and people don't like change. Should they provide the option? Yes, I think they should. More options is good, but it goes away from the intention that Nintendo wants people to play Mario Kart World. So there's 2 different options, 2 different views on it. One is, why did they take it away? They should give options. While the other agreed with the options, they also looked at it as that Nintendo had a vision on this game for Mario Kart World, so that's why they corrected it. What do you guys think? I know well, Jesse, you don't play Mario Kart, so you don't care probably, but Casey, you don't got it. Does this impact you wanting to play it?
It doesn't impact me. I want to play it more. Anytime I see something about Mario Kart in the news, I'm like, man, I wish I had the new Mario Kart. I'm a mark, I believe is the term. I think it's great. I'm seeing so like I know PAX is coming up. There's Seattle SummerCon now, which is in Puyallup, Washington, and that's becoming actually a pretty big con. For like video games and things. It's the one where the guy from Daredevil, Charlie, I don't know the actor's name, but he's in that Expedition 30. Yes, he's in Expedition 33. And there's the clip of him going like, people come up and congratulate me on this game. I don't even play games. I feel like a fraud because he did 4 hours of voice work on it. But they had a Super Mario Kart tournament at that time.
Yeah.
So I think I like more competitive games from Nintendo. I hope I would love for World to become super competitive and Nintendo to be a part of it. I think them fixing it means they're just dedicated to. They realize how many people play it and play it all the time. Like for some people, it's their favorite game. Like it's the game they love the most, and that's great. And I'm glad that I think. How do you guys feel as Mario Kart? I not to kind of pivot, but a little bit. When I see this as a launch title for the Switch, how do you feel about the Mario Kart being the launch title for Switch 2?
Jesse?
Oh, considering that Mario Kart 8 has been the highest selling game on the previous 2 systems, I think it's probably the best choice that they can make. Get that out there on day 1, so it's still there on year 8 when we're talking about where's the Switch 3, and this game has sold 70 million copies.
It's the game people want the most.
Yeah. And so we hear the average person has 6 or 7 games. Obviously, we're not. I have 500 games on my system from the Switch 1.
No, I don't. You have more than I do. But
which means there's got to be people on the other end of that spectrum that will buy 1 game, and that's all they play, and they're happy, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In the Wii, that was Wii Sports.
Yeah. Right.
For me, it was. Yeah. I had Mario Kart World to be able to jump to a new game for the Switch 2 to play. Welcome Tour as well, obviously. But for some, I picked that up. But I still have all kinds of games from the Switch 1 that I can play, that I'm still playing and still can play on the Switch 2. So I had plenty to play. And then there's all the third-party games that came out with it as well. So there was a big push for the third-party stuff. Like the what's that other game I was playing? I have to look at it in order to make sure I read it right or say it right. Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess. That's the Capcom game that I got that also came out with the Switch 2. That is I like it. It's a really good game, and you can only play that on the Switch 2. So there are plenty of options for me that I looked at was like, okay, what can I play when I have a Switch 2? I have Mario Kart World right off the bat to play. Would it have been nice if there was like a Mario Odyssey 2 or something like that? For sure. I would have eaten that up right away. But this allowed me to be able to play Mario Kart World with the community and my family and by myself, but then still be able to play the other games I need to catch up on or play or was interested in from the third-party side. And then I have now this space to go play Donkey Kong when that comes out in July.
Yeah.
Vic in the
That's looking
chat.
great.
Vic in the chat says, "But Sonic Riders Crossworlds has Hatsune Miku."
Nice. I'm actually looking forward to that Crossworlds game. Seeing how that plays. I like where it's going. All right. So yeah, basically it was there's a lot of opinions about Mario Kart World, obviously, because it's a big change. And is it going to be a good change for people? Or are people going to be happy to jump into it after playing, especially those close to 70 million people who had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Are they going to want this game and feel good that this is what I wanted for a sequel? Or are they going to feel like this is not my sequel? I want Mario Kart 8, which they can still play because they can play that on the Switch 8. Switch 8, Switch 2.
Yeah.
Probably still play it on Switch 8. You never know.
Yeah.
It could be backwards compatible by then.
I think the backwards compatible is great as long as they do it for everything forever moving forward. Sign me up. I love it. Yeah. If they're committed to that.
Bottom processing.
I don't know. How would you feel about AI in Mario Kart?
That would be interesting.
They use it to make like new levels.
I don't know about the AI making levels, but like what you're alluding to with the what Sakurai is saying, or like what Marty put as Sakurai AI.
Yeah.
Masahiro Sakurai sees AI as a potential key to the video game industry's future. He believes that AI could help alleviate some of the cost burdens. Here are some of the things he said when he talked to Yahoo. We are now at a stage where we must change the development framework itself, such as by improving work efficiency through the use of generative AI. It may become an era where only companies that can successfully adapt to this change will be able to survive. At present, more than 10,000 titles are released each year, making it extremely difficult for any single game to stand out. What is important is to compete by forging entirely different paths. So obviously this was condensed to everything he had actually said in the interview. So if you want to know more, go to the Yahoo interview that he did and read that. This kind of summarizes what he was saying. And I know this is another hot topic in the industry using AI.
Mark says no AI ever, but as a developer,
that's not realistic. It's the thing. Like Mark, I don't know if you've ever used AI, but if you use AI, Marty, have you used AI?
I've
not Marty, Jesse.
I've used it to make a few of the more recent thumbnails, like that.
Yes,
but I haven't used it for any development work yet. But I know a friend of mine from work will use it to help create SQL queries and shell scripts that do certain things, and and while I use it more as a glorified Google search engine to help me, like I'll paste the error and it'll say, "This is the real error, and this is how you look into solving it." I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm not comfortable with it to the point where it actually to have it create Java code for me. I'm not there. That seems like cheating. The
code to be your hands.
But it seems like cheating, but a lot more and more businesses are saying, no, we want you to do this. Why spend 4 days writing a piece of code that you can have it half done for you in 20 minutes?
Because the thing is, you still know how to have to edit the code and work with the code.
Yeah, you still have to maintain it. Right? It's not going to be a complete replacement.
Right. You still have to know coding to do it. Tim, what about you? Are you using AI at all?
I use it a lot, but our developers use it to help write unit tests. So it helps them for double checking their work and then going from there and write those tests there.
Yeah, sure. You can use it as a help tool.
Yeah, you're using it as a help tool. I use it for helping me as project management.
Perfect.
And
I have it write me math problems all the time for my students. Like it's to say no AI ever. It's not. We can't stop it. It's here now. So we have to integrate with it.
But it has
We've seen
to
the
be
movies.
smartly.
The things where we have to watch out for is someone using AI to completely replace a human voiceover. You know,
I don't like that.
Or to create art, or 2D sprites, 3D models, things like that. I still would rather have a human hand involved.
Sure. I think it should be maybe punishable. No, this might be extreme. Like for artists that sell art, like that sell their pictures of things, and someone just selling AI pictures, I think that's scummy, right?
Yes.
And I think that's not okay. But if you're using it for like personal use for something silly, right? Or like to send a picture to someone, I don't mind that. I use it for D&D a lot, for my D&D games. Like when the Ghibli trend was going on Ghiblifying all your pictures through AI, we made our whole campaign. Every enemy is Ghiblified. All our characters look like Ghibli tokens.
Like Marty did that with a group of the four of us.
Yeah, I saw it. You had the picture on NINDADS Discord, which people should join. It's one of the best Discords.
Someone did that with our PAX picture, and I'm like, what did they do to me? I look awful.
I mean, no one can capture your true beauty, Jesse. I agree. I don't think it's there. But the thing about it, like with games and where it's going, like he says, we have to just learn to adapt with it and use it. So we can't. I had a friend say this to me when I use it as a tool. It's like, okay, no, I'm not getting into that topic. I was going to say something about like sick guns. Like that's very divisive.
Well, as my boss puts it, use it for good, not for evil.
Yes. Right. Sorry. He said it's like you trying to be the one that doesn't use it. You're a drop in the ocean. Like the ocean is coming and you can't stop it. I'm like,
right.
With great power,
I'm with you on the VO
responsibility.
Stuff. For sure. And there should be, we made like liable, like there's rule when like here's an analogy. When people started writing text and like newspapers came available, it probably blew everybody's mind, right? Like everybody can read now. We're getting media so fast, right? Someone said that like about newspapers in the 1900s, like, oh man, I got this newspaper so quick. Or that was the peak technology. We're seeing the technology evolve. We have to go with it. Great power, great responsibility. But there also needs to be laws and guidelines on it. And I'm not like people should be able to do certain things to a certain extent without harm. But like if you are using maybe consumers have to get smart too, or maybe there needs to be a tag in the bottom that says made with AI, so people know.
I definitely think it should be something disclosed.
All AI should have. I think all AI video should have to have a made with AI tag in it. And if you play,
like I actually heard this on a YouTube short that if you have something created in say ChatGPT, like write a 3-page essay on this topic or something like that, it'll actually embed in hidden characters in there. So if you go in with a text editor or with a hex editor, that would reveal what those hidden characters. That way, it's pretty obvious to see that this is something generated. And of course, it was mapped to a service that will let you clean the text to have it to the output only raw text. Which now you're getting shady again. You're hiding the fact that you've used AI.
Tim, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that there could be, the companies need to get together and make the AI accords.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I think of it as
like rules around development.
Half of the players are already up there in Washington, so go nuts.
Right.
Right.
I had someone talk about like kids writing papers with AI and how you stop them. And there are programs and kids that are really bad at it. Here's the thing. Kids will cheat and kids will be sneaky, and this sounds so horrible as a teacher, but if a kid's really sneaky or they're using AI, how are you going to stop them from the kid that's going to go, well, I'll just have AI write it, and then I'm going to open a document, and I'm going to type it myself, so there's no coding in this document that says this, and I'm going to get, like, okay, if that kid wants to go that far to get the A, they're doing something. They're learning through osmosis. They're trying to beat the channels. That tell me
At least
not
they're
tradition.
typing it out themselves.
Sure, but
They
they're
just didn't
also
do the
looking for
research.
like the angle. Yeah. Because what's going to happen is like maybe it ends writing papers because papers are going to have to be written at like on demand. Like you have to write a paper in 2 hours. Go. That's how all essays are going to work.
Well, that's how they were when I was in school.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Let's speed it up. No more week-long essays. You have an hour. Write me an essay.
Back in my day.
Right. Well, this is
Back in my day.
fantastic.
Cranky
It's
Con.
kind of like that's
Love
the
it.
same thing I was saying about when I had to do research for a paper I did on NASA in the late 1900s,
Oh.
where I had to go to the library and pull discs to be put in the drive and be able to search newspapers and articles and all that at the time because there was
No card
there wasn't
catalog and
internet.
microfiche?
No, that was in the
I've-
in the 80s.
Because I had that too.
Yeah, I had to do that too. But when I wrote this paper, I had to go to the library and just had to, get the CD-ROMs and go put them in the computer and search that way. So, but yeah, that was even better at the time. Before, obviously that was an improvement over microfiche.
Nick says, ow, my bones.
All right. Well, that's all the news. Let's jump into some of the release updates we have in the news as well. We got a lot of games that we wanted to let you guys know about that's been updated recently and some of the key things around some of these titles. So pay close attention because we'll have some topics to talk about in here as well. So out now, meaning not necessarily now for those who are listening live, but for everybody who's listening together, if this is recorded, especially for Tamagotchi Plaza, that will be coming out by the time you're listening to this on our feeds. The other ones are out now, such as Front Mission 3 Remake, which we'll have a first look soon on. Once Upon a Puppet should be out. Ruffy and the Riverside should be out, and there's a first look out on that. Until Then should be out, and then again, Tamagotchi Plaza will be out, if not out already by the time you listen to this, for both Switch and Switch 2. And there should be a first look coming for that as well. You guys excited about anything here that's out now or going to be out, whether it be on Switch or Switch 2?
Curious about Tamagotchi Plaza. I never played the original one, but I've heard some funny things that's come out of it.
Yeah,
that has come out of it.
Front Mission 3, I know we got a code for it. I almost took it today. I was like, doing one thing. Because I've always, as a kid, I remember that on, I think it was a PS1 game. And it was really, I know a lot of people like it because I love Final Fantasy Tactics. That's my all-time favorite game. So when I see a battle grid, I'm a sucker. I'm like, ooh, grid.
So you're looking forward to
you
something
like
like
the-
Lydia then?
Maybe we can talk about that. I know when we get to September, I'll hold my tongue.
Okay. I was going to ask about another one. Now I already lost about the game. So, Into the Breach. Did you play that one?
Yes, love Into the Breach, and that's the Steam summer sale is going on, which means there will be a Nintendo sale for the summer coming soon. They usually coalesce at the same time. There is
actually.
Into the Breach is like $5, I think, and on Steam probably the same on the Nintendo eShop right now, and totally worth a grab if you love good tile battlers and dystopian futures. If you like both of those things. And Starship Troopers. I would add that. I think there's an element of Starship Troopers, which is great. Yeah.
Add that in there. Nice. Jesse, what did you find out?
I just looked to see if it was on sale, and it's not. It's currently at its normal price of $15, but it might go on sale soon if it's just starting up.
Yeah. Watch it. Put it in your wanted list. If you don't, give it a little heart on the eShop, and you'll get an email. And Nintendo will love to tell you when it's on sale. Definitely. Right. It's worth $15 too.
Oh,
if you want to pay full price and you're looking for battle
it tells me what the game size is for a Switch or a Switch 2. In this case, it's the same because it's probably the same executable. But there are games that will be different.
Nice.
So they've probably incorporated that into all the games.
So coming out soon, meaning next month, we got Super Mario Strikers, which was just announced for the Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Classics on Switch 2 for NSO plus expansion pack members. That's coming out July 3rd. Anybody excited for that?
I've never played it, but I'm also not a soccer fan.
I'm excited because I never got to play it either, so I'm excited to be able to get a chance to play it.
Did you play the one on Switch, Super Strikers?
No, actually, I didn't get to play that one either.
So I played the demo when that came out. I feel like that Nintendo, if they ever wanted to do free-to-play games and do service game, that is the best service game they could make. To be honest with you, like people would be shilling out money weekly. That would just be like free money if they made that, or like basketball. If they made Mario like X Sport, those time games, that's easy money, Nintendo.
For sure.
Then a quick comment about these NSO games. Even though they say give it a date, this normally comes out the afternoon in Japan at that date, so we would be able to play it in the evening of the previous day. So it'll likely be live around 8 or 9 o'clock on the 2nd.
Okay, nice. Darth Platypus asks a very important question. When does then become now? Now is then, right? Or is then now? Then is now. Now is then. It's old Spaceballs, the routine, right? So
yes, the answer to those kind of questions.
Is that what that was from?
Yes.
I've seen that movie, but not since I was a kid. When it was
it was the whole thing when they put the movie in. They broke the fourth wall. They put the movie in, and they're like, "This is happening now." And it's
Right.
like, you mean then? No, then is now, and now is then. That type of thing. So, all right, continuing down the list, Missile Command Delta, which is an Atari game, one of the Atari games that they tend to remake every now and then, comes out July 8th. Islanders New Shores comes out July 10th, and we'll have a first look of that. Patapon 1+2 Replay comes out July 11th. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 coming out for both Switch and Switch 2 will be July 11th. Donkey Kong Bonanza, which we're all excited about, I think, but is coming out for Switch 2 on July 17th, and the first look will be coming for that. Shadow Labyrinth, unfortunately, is also coming out July 17th for coming out on the 7th for Nintendo. That is the Pac-Man-esque game that I was actually excited about, but I probably won't pick up until I'm done with Donkey Kong Bonanza because I want to play that one. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TVs, which is a Switch 2 game, comes out July 24th. And Ninja Gaiden Ragebound comes out July 31st. Any of those pique your interest, gentlemen?
Donkey Kong and Tony Hawk. Come on, man! Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, it's going to be free on Game Pass too. But my son's like, I pre-download. He got a Xbox for Christmas, so he's turned into a little bro in my house. And then sometimes I still see him play his Switch. We're having an issue with Minecraft and Switch, but that's a different story. But he was talking about, have you ever heard of a Tony Hawk? And I was like, son, let me tell you about Tony Hawk. One of those moments. Sometimes I thought about pretending like no, and then playing him when he thought he was really good, and then just skunking him. That's
Nice.
also one of my favorite moves. Pretending I have no knowledge of something and then destroying him at it. But Tony Hawk and Donkey Kong would be my answers with like a capital, like exclamation point, 111 exclamation point.
Nice.
Yeah, Shadow Labyrinth is the one I'm more curious about.
Okay.
Not sure how far.
What about you?
What I'll do with that, but
yeah, that's going to be a Metroidvania. That's why I was considering that one myself. But Donkey Kong Bonanza is the top of my list right now.
Especially with the Paulina stuff they announced, I was like, yes, excellent.
Yeah. How were you feeling before you saw it and after?
I mean, like, we didn't know what it was. I was just assuming it was going to be like a one-player Mario Odyssey version of Donkey Kong. Like, oh, here's Mario Odyssey Donkey Kong, right? Like, here's a big open world. Well, maybe not. Okay, that's really, what's the word when people do that? I can't think of it right now, but it's really dismissive, I guess. And seeing Paulina, it's like, oh, people I know wanted Diddy Kong. This is a fun new twist. Mario's got a new look. There's a story about Paulina. People always ask about Paulina. They give you some Donkey Kong lore, which we all love and need. Yeah, I was very excited. And then it's just a game you could play. Like, my daughter is 7, and I think she would love for me to be Donkey Kong and for her to be Paulina. And I would love to do. I think my first thing is going to be maybe I'll do a playthrough on this channel with my daughter and I commentating as her Paulina. But we'll see. I gotta wait.
Nice.
Yeah. I was very excited. Thought it was great.
Yeah, in the Discord this weekend, last week I mentioned the audio cue from the original Donkey Kong, and then I put in the Discord. There's another reference to the original Donkey Kong. If you look at Pauline's dress, it kind of has a ripped look. It's like not even, and it's jagged. And if you look at like the key art from the original Donkey Kong arcade, her dress is also torn and ragged. So
Yeah,
I
cool.
haven't heard anyone ever mention that, so I thought I'd put it out.
I still haven't heard anybody mention it either. Not even Roger.
Yeah,
and believe me, if you're not hyped, but
Roger at least got the audio cue.
Yes, but I want to say too, if you're not hype about Donkey Kong Bonanza, go watch Roger's video. He'll make you hype. He'll make you hype for that video, for that game.
Before we move on to the out later, I wanted to throw out there, we didn't talk about it last week, but 3 games last week that were originally supposed to be Amico exclusives are now out on Switch and other systems.
Okay. Yeah.
And so like, because lately I've been on dunking on Amico because what they've done with the company and the Intellivision name is horrible. But yeah, so I don't even remember like Finnegan Fox is one of them. Cornhole's the other one. I don't remember what the third one is, but yeah.
But none of them. I clicked on the button and tried to get to it on the Nintendo Switch eShop, and they weren't showing up. And I even tried searching for it, and it didn't show up.
Maybe they didn't release them, which was announced they would. Let me do a quick search.
Yeah, because it's like here, click here and make a search, and nothing.
See, Cornhole launched on 6/19. Finnegan Fox.
Then Friendo asks, "Are they HD with ray tracing now?"
No, they're Finnegan Fox also came out on 6/19.
Yeah.
So yeah, they. Yeah.
When I went to the eShop, though, at least I couldn't find them. It was like, it took me to the main page when I clicked on the link in the email, and then when I tried to search it, it didn't show up.
Huh.
I'll try again.
Yeah, I know.
At that moment,
a lot of the searches, like if you just type in the search bar and let the recommended pop up, they've kind of been focusing on Nintendo 2 games. I mean, Switch 2 games. So if it's just one game that isn't really featured, if you hit enter to have it then show a new page, then it will show up.
I didn't at that time. I hit enter and nothing was showing up.
Oh, okay.
But I'll try it again. Did it show up for you?
Yeah, I was able to search for Finnegan Fox. Even spelled it wrong, and it did come up.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. So again, more Amico dunking because I can.
Nice. All right.
I can and I will.
The other games coming out later. Dragon Drive was announced to come out. This is for the Switch 2 on August 14th, and it'll be $19.99 in the US eShop. I think GameStop initially had it listed as $8, but that was a mistake.
Yeah, that's also
no. You gotta honor the price tag.
What's that?
Gotta honor the price tag. GameStop, $8.
Right. $8 for the game.
And I think that's digital only. There won't be any physical release of that.
Madden NFL. By the way, either one of you interested in Dragon Drive?
A little bit. My close family friend, he calls me Uncle Casey. He plays wheelchair basketball. He's disabled. And so I think it's really cool. I know everyone talks about like seeing yourself in movies and media and games. If you ever get to the opportunity to go watch a wheelchair basketball game, it's really exciting. They play really hard. The wheelchairs at a different level. It's very competitive.
Yeah.
And it's these kids that want to compete. It's just really like a beautiful thing. I can't.
That's cool to watch how they play. I've seen it on
it is.
TV before, and
Yeah,
They
it should
play
be the number
hard
one
and
Olympic
rough.
sport. Yeah,
Yeah.
they go after each other,
Yeah.
and they play really. They try to play they play basketball in this unique way, and it's very technical and tactical, and it's still the game. It's a different version of the game of basketball. I've learned in the last few years, like I don't know if any of you have ever seen the 3-on-3 basketball highlights.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a league
It's
for it,
street
and then
ball.
people talk about street ball, or just one-on-one basketball too.
Yeah.
But there's the Big Three, which is owned by Ice Cube, is a 3-on-3 league where former players go and play. It's half court. It's still really competitive, but it's very different than traditional basketball. Like, it's not basketball. It is a different version of basketball, but it is competitive. So if you love the game of basketball and just like watching people compete, wheelchair basketball. So the Dragon Drive for me looks really fun and could be really fun. I hope it's a game that people have good hearts about and play. And I hope it's a really competitive game. Like, I hope they make it kind of like Rocket League, to be honest with you, with levels of nuance there. That would be like, if they're, to me, Nintendo looked at Rocket League and like, what if we did this with these robots and these chairs, right?
Yeah.
I'm very interested in Dragon Drive, and I hope they do a good job with it. Because it could be
like
really good, or it can be really bad.
They did look like they did more to it too, since initially announcing it, and to the point where they just announced the release date. Because that video, when I watched it, it looked a lot cleaner. There was a lot more going on in the background. So it looked more, because when I first saw it, it was like, that's cool, and that's coming out for how much? And because it doesn't look like much is there.
It was like $20, which is wild.
Yeah, now it says it's $20, but now it looks like there's $20 worth of stuff going on in that game. So
yeah, that's true too.
So all right, going down the list, we already know about Madden 9, if NFL 26 coming out August 14th. There's another game called Off, August 15th. Not about me, it's about if anybody knows my last name. Anyways, it's an indie game that basically you are using a bat to take care of ghosts. So check it out. It's coming out August 15th.
I think that's the game. I looked at their booth. I didn't actually play it, but I got to talk to one of the devs about it.
Okay.
And if that's what I'm thinking of, I don't
it's
remember.
actually
this is like a really weird version of Undertale. Okay.
Well, it came out, I think it said 20 years ago, and now they're it came out originally on PC a bit
ago, and they're doing a remake for modern systems. They're enhancing some things, but keeping some of the quirks that made PC games a PC game back then still here.
Yeah.
Nice. So be on the lookout for that, for the cool indie game coming out. Shinobi Art of Vengeance is coming out on August 29th. It's on sale for $26.99 until August 28th for $26.99. Where it'll go up to $29.99 in the US eShop. Off. Yep. Star Wars Outlaws finally comes out on the Switch 2, September 4th. I'm excited about that. Damon X Machina Titanic's Scion. It's coming out for Switch 2 on September 5th. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots coming out for Switch on September 5th. The possibility that Justin, I think, talked about, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond possibly coming out in September as well, but we'll see. Nothing official has been announced yet. Sonic Racing Cross World, September 25th. Final Fantasy Tactics, I know you mentioned this. Thank you. Ivalice Chronicles, September 30th.
Ivalice, yes.
Pokemon Legends ZA for Switch and Switch 2 edition, October 16th. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake, October 30th. Mina the Hollower, October 31st.
Yeah, so 3 games I'm interested in coming out in 2 weeks' time.
Kirby Air Riders possibly coming out as a November game, but again, nothing officially announced. It was just speculated. And then what Nintendo game could come out in December, we don't know. Possibly Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. That's listed as a winter 2025 game, or it may just say winter. And Nintendo's winter is actually January through March.
So you think it could be a 2026 game?
Could be a January
yeah.
window, right? That they might throw that in there too. But
it's not I think that's a good move for it personally.
So which games, Jesse, were you interested in?
The Pokemon Legends ZA, Dragon Quest 1 and 2, and Mina the Hollower.
Okay. Right in a row there, like you said.
Yep, boom, boom, boom.
Love it.
And then, Casey, you were talking about Final Fantasy Tactics, obviously.
Oh, man. I love me some Tactics. Pokemon ZA is also one that's in my eyes, and Mina the Hollower as well. I love that Mina the Hollower. Dude, give me more Shovel Knight. Give me all the Shovel Knight. But give me a Zelda-inspired Shovel Knight. Yeah.
Nice.
What about you, Tim?
Very cool. Well, obviously, if Metroid Prime does come out in September, I'll be happy about that. Madden, I'm extremely excited about finally being able to play that on the Nintendo console, especially portably. Super excited about that. I am excited about Dragon Drive. Those are both coming out the same day. So good sports games on the 14th.
Yeah.
And that off game, I want to check that out. There's actually a lot going on that's coming up. So yeah.
Yeah. I know the Daemon X Machina people, I think, is the same. Is that the same as the Astral? What's the game with the cops?
No.
No, not the same team? Okay.
Not Astral Chain. Nope. Not the same people.
Thank you. Okay. That seems similar. Sorry to interrupt you, Jesse. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I think Justin said that he put in a request for off that because since I talked to them at PAX put in the request for me for it. So if it comes in, I'll have that. Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. Tactics is really exciting, but I don't know if you guys have seen the news too about them. The developer talked about the coding. They lost the coding to the original file. So this is like when I've had I'm sure you've done it with friends or among where you've written out your 100 video games of all time, right? Final Fantasy Tactics is usually like top 3 for me. It's the game I played the most. I have tons of hours. I play on my phone whenever I'm feeling down. Lion Wars was a great iteration of it. Lion Wars came out on the PSP, and they're not putting any of that stuff in, supposedly. And the fan base that there's a Twitch channel where they have AI, and they've opened up the character. It's 2 Final Fantasy Tactic teams fighting each other, and you can bet on it, kind of like Salty Bets, if that's an old reference for people. And the people are like, hey, not adding Dark Knight in this is a miss. And so I'm curious if they correct course. I don't know. They could
possible DLC maybe.
Yes, possible. I don't even want DLC. Here's the thing: the game needs to do well, so they make a new one. Triangle Strategy was really close. I love Triangle Strategy. It's one of my favorite Switch games. I put 150 hours in Triangle Strategy because it was the first thing that scratched that Final Fantasy Tactics itch for me in a long time. Yeah. And or even Fire Emblem Three Houses. I don't want this to be bad. That's all. And then Metroid Prime
can't be bad though. Can't be bad.
No, you're right.
This is a remake of what it's already been done. Right? Yeah,
but they made a better version of it.
They could still mess up.
Remake.
No,
Warcraft
3 says hi.
Yeah. Right. They made this really good version on PSP that people would love to see a graphical update to. I'm just really hoping they listen to fans. Pokemon ZDA, though, super excited. I love the aspect of battling. Where you're rank Z to rank A. I like a little more. My biggest complaint with Arceus was the battling sucked. And I like that they're trying to be like, hey, did you like Pokemon Arceus but hate battling? Yes. Oh, here, we got the solution for you. Jesse, what starter would you pick for Pokemon ZA?
See, I don't even remember what.
It's Tepig, Chikorita, and Totodile.
Oh, I'd have to go Tempeg. That's because I go Fire Starter almost every time.
Oh, every time? Nice. Yeah. That's a good. You're one of those. Yeah. That's a good person. Don't tell me your Zodiac. Tell me your Pokemon starter. That's right.
Though I did not like the final evolution from Arceus's.
Yeah, when they did the Hisuians, some were better than others. You didn't like the Typhlosion Ghost?
No, I didn't like the Ghost type Typhlosion.
Okay. I picked the Rowlet Karate Owl, and I enjoyed it fine. The best one is the Samurai, but Pokemon ZA, I hope we keep getting games like that one, and that'll be mine number one. That's a day one purchase. When I should have my Switch 2 hopefully by then.
Swinging back to tactics again, I think
Yes.
I think it's Dookie03 on YouTube put out a video saying that Square Enix has, with all the remasters and re-releases they've been doing lately, they don't want to make a definitive edition. Things in the GBA era, they re-released a game but added new content, and then 15 years later they re-release the game again, but that new content's not there. And why are you afraid of just making a single definitive edition of any of your games? I'm like, good question.
Yeah. Or if people like something, listen to them. You have a big user base that's clamoring hey. But the bigger thing is them not having the code. Where did it go? Why do you not have that? I want to know more about that. They just
that's not the first time we've heard this.
Right.
Final Fantasy VIII, I think, had that problem too.
Right. So and it sounds like why does it happen? That's what I'd like to know, because I never hear that follow up.
I know source control in the 90s was a pretty niche thing. It wasn't really more popularized until the 2000s when the source control engines got more sophisticated. And now everyone uses Git now, which is probably the best solution I've ever seen. But back
could there
then,
be an employee that has it on a random thumb drive that had access to it?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
By the way,
I'm sure they still got a floppy.
I haven't worked there in 20 years.
It's on a zip drive.
Yeah.
It's on a zip drive.
Right?
Zip drive. Oh wow, that.
I have a feeling.
There's a back in my day moment too.
Back in my day.
100 megabytes.
Play. Oh man.
All right, so there was a lot of games coming out that we listed off there. Let us know in the comments whether you're watching us on YouTube or you reply back in the podcast feed of your choice. Love to hear what you're looking forward to playing on, whether it's the Switch 1 or the Switch 2. Love to hear about it. So, or if there's a game that's coming out on another system that you would love to hear or see come out on the Switch 2 eventually, I would love to hear it too. Like the Expedition 33. I would love to hear about that game coming to the Switch 2. So, all right. That's it for the news. Let's get on to Let's Discuss. All right. So we have
thanks to Rap Sheet for rating us. Thank you.
Oh, sweet. We got raided.
Whoa.
What's up, Rap Sheet? Nice. Hello to everybody who came in. It's a raid. It's awesome. Good timing too. Hopefully they stick around and watch a bunch of dads talk about video games. All right. So we came to the Let's Discuss part, and this week we actually had a question for our community. And we asked, the Nintendo Switch 2 has 256 gigabytes of storage with only 8 gigs set aside for system use. Do we truly need a memory card? Can you survive on just what the system gives you? If you say yes, let us know what you're doing to manage your games. If you say no, tell us why you have to have all the games available to you and how much storage you need and want. So Darth Platypus said, I say I need the memory card. I don't need every game I own on it, but I want to be able to have a wide range of games available whenever I want. The Jiggy Collector said, hey dads, definitely need the memory card. My storage is full and still purchasing and downloading Switch 1 games I've never played. I have a pretty extensive library of indie games too. Thanks for all you do. Jamie in Australia said, I have a 64 gigabyte card in my Switch OLED. Neither my OLED nor my micro SD card is full. Once I go to Switch 2, I think I'll be fine. And then Hoot said, I did not get the memory card primarily because I do not want to spend more than the price of the game for the SD card that's similar than the one I have now.
That's smaller.
But also I think it will help me be more intentional about the games I play, to play fewer games at one time and to commit to being done with a game when I'm done with it. Seize the day. So, Casey, when you finally get your Switch 2, are you going to get it? Are you going to get a SD card, or are you going to try to?
I don't want to cuss on here, but absolutely. You can insert anything. Yeah, like when I remember my dad. So, God, my friends are gonna laugh at me. We talked about my dad worked for Nintendo growing up. I love bringing this up, and he's always been into technology. Right, this is why you guys let me come on the show, because I have some interesting viewpoints growing up as a Nintendo shill, and then bang for my way through life. I remember going with him when I was going off, or no, when I got back from college, and I worked in broadcasting radio, and I needed something for my computer, and I was buying a external hard drive, 250 gigs, and it was like $120, and he was blown away, like 250 gigs, oh my god! And I said to him, like, you know what's gonna be really weird? Like a terabyte is gonna be this cheap in like 15 years. Like 2 terabytes right now is 250 gigs. I will buy 2 terabytes because then I never have to think about all the games I have or if I'm gonna have enough room. Because I don't play. Here's the other thing that people should be mad about: Call of Duty and other game companies that make their games really big. They do that on purpose, so it's the only game you have on your system. When you run out of memory, like, well, I can't delete that. This is what they do to average gamers. They can compress files and they can make things flow and make it less of a size, and they don't. But me personally, memory is an easy upgrade. And why not put the 2 terabytes? So yes, that's my long one. Absolutely, give me the 2 terabytes. And right now, I was already looking at the cards, and I will be buying a micro SD 2 terabyte card right away.
Express.
Well, remember, you have to look for an Express, so they don't even make 2 terabytes of that size yet. But in 3 or 4 years, they probably will.
Okay, Express SD. That's it.
Yeah,
right? Thank you.
Because it needs the higher speed. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yep. So make sure it says Express. We can't say anything else with EX on it. It has to be Express.
Can it say Extreme? It has to say Express.
No,
it can't
not
be
Extreme.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's why I said that. I knew that was going to come up.
Yeah, I was actually talking about this with my personal trainer today. That these cards are hard to find now because before the Switch 2 came out, they were pretty much only used by high-speed cameras, and now Switch 2s want them, and so everyone's buying them for their Switch 2. And if they come out, if there are any on shelves, they sell out fast. So over time there will be more companies making them, and they will go down in price, and they will increase in capacity. But right now, this is going to be really hard to find one.
You want to hear something frustrating?
What's the biggest Express SD card you can get right now? Sorry,
I've seen 1 terabytes by Lexar. But again, they don't, when they go up on Amazon, they don't last long. And like Marty and I have a 512 that's ON branded, ONN, which is basically Walmart's branding.
Do you feel like a 1 terabyte would be in a physical store? Like I don't know what the big computer stores are these days anymore because everything's online, but I'm sure like there's got to be one store that would have it physically in.
Maybe look at a camera shop. See?
That might be the move, actually, right? Like,
So here's a frustrating thing that happened to me when I saw packaging. That it was like one of those cards where you had to take the card up to the register. They had the register. They had the card, 2 of them up on saying that here's 2. Grab one, take it up, and then you can get yours. Right. This was at GameStop in the Nintendo section for the 1 gigabyte card that they sell. I grabbed it. I was like, sweet, $99. I'm going to pick this up.
You mean 1 terabyte?
So 1 terabyte. Sorry. Yeah. 1 terabyte. So I grabbed it, took it up to the register, or I was about to take it to the register. And he goes, oh, sorry, we don't have those in stock yet. And I said, well, the card's out like you do. And he said, I'm sorry, Nintendo pays us to leave that out there.
Okay.
So like, that's stupid. So it's like,
But
Okay,
yes, I
great.
agree.
I
It's
know you're
stupid, but yes, if they're getting paid to have
well,
the
yeah,
cards
for them
out,
it's great. But as a consumer, I just thought you had it already, and I'm picking it up like, oh, great, they have some. I'm gonna go get me one. No, it's just a display to say they're going to get some, and he couldn't even tell me when they were going to get some because they don't know yet.
because I definitely
So
would have gotten a 1 terabyte if they
yeah,
were available. But
yes. So it was a Benji. All right.
so my answer to this is it depends if you're transferring a profile or not. Again, I didn't know this until I transferred mine, but again, it's something that we've all learned. If you transfer a profile from Switch 1 to Switch 2, it will automatically download all the games you had. So it was trying to download over 200 games on me. So it which eventually did max out my 512, and I had to go in and delete a bunch of games I didn't want, and then it continued to download games until it was done, and then I went in and deleted the games I didn't want again. So I ended up with the card about half capacity. So if you're transferring, definitely you want to have something in there. If you're starting from scratch, probably not needed until, again, a year or two down the road when you're able to find a higher capacity card at a little bit cheaper price.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I bought the 256 memory card, the SD card that I got from Best Buy. It came in the bundle that they were offering. I opted for. And actually, I didn't use it. I actually wanted to see if I could hold out and just use the onboard memory. And so far, I've been able to do that. So I've been kind of doing what Hoots was saying, I think it was, just to see, like, make it intentional what games to focus on, because I can get overwhelmed, by having too many games on my Switch to all of a sudden just like I'm looking at all these games that I want to play, so I don't play any.
Right.
So it's been nice to kind of have a focus on there. The only time I worry about it though is when we get a bunch of games that we need to do a first look on, and I have to I start downloading it because I got the codes, and then all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, am I going to run out of room?
I'm curious to know how many games I kept. I think it's probably like 50-ish. Let's see if I can look it up real quick.
I like the idea of having all my games fit on the main screen. So that's 10 games.
Yeah.
If I can just get 10 games there, that's good. I don't have to go to the other page, but that already got taken up by all the NSO apps, which is another thing. It's like, I wish I could just go. I think I saw somebody suggest, why can't I just go to the NSO app itself that's at the bottom of the screen? Because if you go there, you can actually go to each of the systems there and see all the games that are on each system. And then if you click on it, I believe it takes you to the app to go play it.
Right.
So it's like, why can't I just access my games from there instead of having the separate apps up at the top? But anyways,
I have 81 games.
I grouped them all. 81. Okay.
Yeah.
I just grouped all the NSO games together, so now I have them in a group. And then I have some ones that I'm going to leave on my Switch. When I start having too much to leave on the Switch, then I might need the 256 on there, another card, or that 1 gig I was eyeballing and almost bought, or 1 terabyte, excuse me, one that I almost bought. I might still get one of those when it comes out. But we'll see. I'm right now, I'm liking not having an extra space and having limited space, because I can, and it's also not an issue for me to be able to go re-download a game if I need it. Now, that my attitude might change if I have to go somewhere and I don't have the game I want to play immediately and have to download it using hotel Wi-Fi. My attitude might change then, but for now, it seems to be okay. All right. If anybody who's watching this or listening to this, if you want to chime in, again, leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on the memory card aspect of things, whether you're using one or holding off. Love to hear about it. All right, Casey.
Yes, sir.
You haven't been around in a while. We want to catch up with you. What you been up to?
Oh man, no, where have I been? I've been hiding in the mountains and studying kung fu. No, the spring
Are
is
you the
weird.
new
I
Iron
coach.
Fist?
I am. I would love to be. No, spring gets really busy with me with football. I'm in this weird spot. I've just been working, and I I'm at a point in my career where I'm looking to not make moves, but just what am I going to do next? And my son, I love football. I'm an avid football coach, and I started coaching my son's football team, and that takes up a lot of my time. And just teaching and being a dad, and being there for my daughter. My daughter, I feel, always gets the short end of the stick. She started doing horse riding. That's been the big thing for me as of late. On Thursdays, she goes on horse riding lessons, and I try to make those. And now I always look at how much horse costs, and then I cry. But that's just me looking at my wallet because that's her dream is to get a horse right now. But other than that, no, I've just been playing games. I've been playing Monster Hunter Wilds and a few other things have really piqued my interest. And I've been looking for a Switch too. I think with like my life where it was at in the time of the release was that I bought some other things. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait till it's a little more accessible. And I just want I will never buy a console online. I do not want it. I refuse. And this is me kind of being an old man here. I want to go to a store and be able to be like, do you have it? When do you think you're going to have it? I'll come in and buy it then because I like one, paying for the store and being part of the process. I'll go to a GameStop. I love GameStop. I worked at a GameStop. So I'm hoping in the next few months, the price tag of 500, if you're like a consumer and saving for it, it's good. I just want to be able, I want to be able to buy other things. I chose to purchase a new car and do other grown-up things this year. And then my wife, here's the real secret. My wife told me not to get anything for my 40th birthday because it's my 40th birthday this year. So now I'm afraid to buy anything. Because if I buy something for myself, it could be a gift. She's trying to do some nice things, and then I am the bad guy. So I just look at people through their windows playing Switch 2 and going, oh, that looks so fun. You guys want to invite me over? No? Okay, I'll go home type thing right now. But that's where I've been, just being busy being a dad. My summer plans are to keep working with my kids, coaching, and then playing some really good JRPGs. That's my favorite thing to do during the summer. And so, like, that's why Front Mission, when we were talking about that today, looked interesting. And I got a couple other games that I'm going through that I'd love to talk to you guys about later today on this episode. We will.
Nice.
That's where I've been. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's good to hear that you're okay and you're able to come
I'm
back
not
and
dead.
hang out with us in the summer.
Yeah. No,
You didn't
and I'm
fall
trying
off
to
the
make
face
more
of the
time for
planet.
everything. No, not completely. I'm not dead. I've made a couple of things. I played the Kulebra game for the channel, and
Yes.
I've done a couple like first looks. My favorite thing is to volunteer for first looks and that people are all hesitant to play and volunteer as tribute. Like, yeah, I'll play this game that's definitely $1. And sometimes they're really fun. Hello Kitty Island Adventure slaps. I want to let you guys know I did the first look for that, and me and my daughter had put a lot of hours in that.
Everybody loves
enjoyed
that game for sure. Yeah.
I can't believe it was an iPhone game. Like, that's the other thing that blows me away. Whenever I find out these games were not iPhone, Apple Arcade, which is their separate thing, I really hope Nintendo and Apple merge at some point, and that would just make me the happiest man alive. I'd
Do
be
you
like,
remember those rumors? Do you remember those
It's-
rumors in the Wii U time? Apple was going to
Yeah.
buy Nintendo.
They should. They
And
run
then
the
they had
same
Miyamoto
business
show
model.
up at WWDC that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there was
Like,
talks.
oh, there it is.
Well, didn't Xbox offer them, or not Xbox, Microsoft offered them like $54 billion, right? And then
Microsoft
Nintendo
offered
laughed them out the building.
They laughed them out of
yeah.
the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
before.
I think Apple would be like,
And that was
Yeah.
pre-Xbox, and that's why they spun up their own division.
Look at
Yes.
what Nintendo's doing. Nintendo being all cocky and prideful, that spun up this PlayStation and now spun up the Xbox. Look
did
what
you
they
see
did.
Nintendo Studios was in Death Stranding 2's like credits?
I
No.
did see
Death
that.
Stranding 2 came out.
'Cause-
Yeah. They're using them.
What I think happened is, I forget the name of the original studio before they had the name change, but they were used in Death Stranding 1, and they were probably used in Death Stranding 2 before Nintendo bought them. But Nintendo bought them,
Yeah.
they changed their name, so they have to be credited, so that they use the new name in the credits.
I love it. Because Nintendo Studios is the movie thing. Kojima loves him some movies. That's all I know about. I've never played a Metal Solid game. I just know Kojima as like this character in the video game Zeitgeist, and I know people love Metal Gear. But I liked seeing that because it's telling me Nintendo wants to. They have some. They're working on some secret stuff.
Yes. You got any summer plans?
Death Stranding to Switch 2. Calling it now.
That would be something. Do you have any summer plans?
Just some vacationing. It's my 40th birthday. My wife has been calling this. This is the other thing with the Switch. It's my 40th birthday, so that's why she wants to give me the Switch, because she knows how big of a deal that would be. And she's a sweet lady, and I'm very lucky to be married to her. And if she's watching, I would say this even if you weren't.
She's standing off to the side, making sure you say every word
at the door. Yeah, she's not standing in the corner doing this with her fist.
She's holding the cue cards for you to read and everything.
Yeah. No, this summer I'm gonna do some traveling. I know I wanted to go to PAX this year, but I haven't seen. I'm going to Denver, and I'm gonna go do some hiking and just.
Nice.
Trying to be more active and do some grown-up stuff. And then my son's football starts, and I coach that. And this year I want to continue to be a good experience. I just love that. Like, my dad coached stuff for me as a kid when I was really young, and then coaching football and seeing my son play, like, it's hard because I'm also the hardest on him because I know how people perceive coaches' kids.
Yeah.
So it's the other hard balance of like. If I walk away and go, man, he's really hard on Asher, I'm like, good. But I'm also like, Asher, I'm so sorry in the car to my son. He's a good kid.
Find that balance.
He works
right?
hard. Yeah, you got to yell at them whenever they make a mistake and hold them and let them offer them a sacrifice.
Yep.
And then, they show you how
he's yelling at his own kid. I better do it.
Yeah, dude. Like, no, some kids you do see that, like, dang, he's getting really. That's his own son. What is he going to say to me? Like, yeah, I'm being nice right now. No, other than that, I'm just chilling, playing games. July is my JRPG month. I pick a JRPG to beat or finish, and I just play JRPGs in July. Okay. So since I was a kid, it's kind of my like summer thing. So nice. I'm back into gaming and. Just that's my summer plans right now. I keep looking at Bravely Default 2, and I rub my hands at it every time. Or not Bravely Default 2, I have that, but the remake, Bravely Default. Okay. Yeah,
I was going to ask, what were you looking at? Okay, cool.
Yeah, the fairies, the fairies awaken. Yes, that one. That will be a Switch 2 day one buy probably too.
Okay. If Justin was here, he'd be saying, we need a first look of that if you happen to want to do it.
I will make it once I get it, or if we get a code and want to do it, I would love to do that. But yes, that was like I'm a Square guy.
Justin, if you're still watching, there you go. You got somebody who could do Bravely Default 2 remake,
or not 2, Bravely Default remake.
Oh, the first one. Sorry, the Bravey.
Yes,
Bravey Default. something like that. Yeah. All right. He might have stopped watching. We'll pick his brain on that. All right, cool. Thanks for catching up, Casey, and thanks for coming on the show as usual.
Anytime.
So it's glad to see you're doing okay and you're having a good time. Yeah. Can't wait until you get your hands on a Switch 2, and if definitely happy
get some
early
shorts
birthday.
Content out there. Yeah, appreciate it.
Happy early 40th. So
appreciate
awesome. It's a big milestone there. All right, let's talk about what we've been playing. Casey, you are our guest host. Go ahead and start us off, please.
Well, I did a first look of a game called Kulebra. The way I would describe this game is Spirit. It's Kulebra and the Spirit of Souls of Limbo. And when I was playing it, I immediately thought Coco Guacamelee meets Spiritfarer. It's a game about like purgatory and you getting soul. There seems to be a new genre of games. Like, hey, do you want to be the Grim Reaper and help souls find peace? And it does a really good job. it's very puzzle based. It's no combat, and it's very fun. Like the Guacamelee, like the cut, or even Paper Mario. It even reminds me of that a lot. Like everything's kind of cut out like that.
Okay.
Really, really good. If you want a really good story, I was blown away at how much it engrossed me in the 40 minutes that I did on the first look. And I've been playing it since. It's like a good, like, I can play 20 minutes and walk away and then think about the puzzle and ruminate it. It's not too hard. It's like, well, maybe let me go talk to this person and go to that. And when a game makes me think about it when I have it off, I know it's a good game.
Yeah.
And it's just one that I was like, yeah, I'll take a chance on it. And I love it. It's so good. Like, and if you really, we all have friends that love like the story, like what's the Oldrin? That's a very story driven game, right? Or just like the what's the Nintendo one that came out? The detective, Amikio?
The
What's
True Detective one.
Emio?
Oh,
not Ace Attorney, the remake. Yes, and that's another one of those like story driven.
The third game in Famicom Detective Club.
Yes, Detective Club. Thank you. Yes. That was what it is. And Ace Attorney too, just story-driven, enjoyable games. I've been playing that, and then I defected. Here's the truth, guys. I started a new podcast called Xbox Dads. No, I'm kidding. We got Xbox One, and we got Xbox Series X in our house at Christmas. And I love Monster Hunter Wilds, or Monster Hunter in general, but Monster Hunter Wilds has been the game I've soaked the most time into. And then also Magic the Gathering because of Final Fantasy. I have a question about Magic in a second. The other game I've been playing for the first time is I always look for games that like people put in their top 100, top 10s. And I'm playing Skyrim because my best friend's been asking me years to play Skyrim. And I'm like, eh. And I can see how Skyrim influenced Breath of the Wild so much now. I'm like, oh, your guys are trying to do this. Because my whole time I'm like, why can't I climb? That's why I keep going back to Skyrim. Like, I just want to be able to climb this. But I'm having fun with that. And then because of the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering cards, I am really interested in Magic again. And I know you guys were telling me all the Magic you play. So you know how people do like my Zodiac's this, or like don't screw your Zodiac. What's your Zodiac? What's your Mario Kart character that tells me more about your personality? What color decks do you guys play?
And in the past, I had a green solo deck, unicolor deck. In fact, I think I still have part of the deck here at my desk. It's just been buried. It was the boss character, the boss monster, basically was, trample that did N damage, where N is the number of tokens on it, and every turn the number of tokens on it doubles.
Right. Green's really about like big, strong character, and then you get a bunch of resources really fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It says a lot about a person, right? When you're like, oh, I'm a green player, you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Right? It tells me.
I've also dabbled with white blues.
Okay.
Those two colors seem to go well together.
They do. I agree. What about you, Tim?
Whenever I did a unicolor one, it was usually white because I like playing angel decks. So I'd go with white, but then it evolved to white and black because I liked the contrast between the two.
The balance.
Like one's is like life-giving, one's about life-taking. So
right. One's about defense, one's about offense. Yeah.
So it turns it into basically a life tap game where you just screw the monsters, just take their life directly and add it to your own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, but in fact, well, you can't see it right now, but one of my favorite cards that started off was an angel card. And I have a poster. I got a signed poster of from the artist.
That's rad.
On my wall.
We should talk about artists in Magic. Remind me after the show.
So that is where I collect more, is for the art on the cards.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to get the Final Fantasy ones, because they had the special guest artist come in from the Final Fantasy game doing
Yeah.
the art.
I want a
and
VV card so bad. So
The
bad.
art cards in here are so cool. Cause yeah, I got a few
Did you
of
pull a
those.
VV? Or have you even opened?
No, I've opened them and I don't remember. I'm bad at memory of
Okay.
what I actually pulled.
Vivi is the black
yeah.
mage from 9, if that helps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, for those that are playing the
I
home
did
game,
not.
yeah.
I don't think I pulled that one.
He's fire and he's something else. There's a VV card and then he's the fire spell card for a red card.
I did pull the Sephiroth one, the flip one.
Ooh.
So doggone thing. So yeah.
Don't let
Thank you,
people
Zoom
see that. They might
background.
dox your house.
Right.
Put it by your shirt. Put it right here in the corner.
Oh no, it's fine. They can't see that. See?
Nice,
So,
nice. Yeah. You could, okay. What color
ahead.
do you think I would be?
Red mountain.
Oh, interesting. Jesse?
I don't remember what all the colors are, but I was actually leaning towards red as well. Just like the, when I think of red decks, I think of either like high damage nukes, magic, and like goblin swarm decks.
I am
Yes.
a hardcore blue player. By the way, just so you know,
Nice.
blue one. I like to draw the games out and take people to deep water. Same way I played Pokemon back when I played competitively. Like, oh, we're on turn 150, just so you know. And they're like, ah.
That's hilarious.
So it always, yeah.
So in a tournament, they're waiting for everyone to finish playing, and you're the last table.
Always, because when you play long games, you can be like, I'm on turn 5 while this person's still dealing with this turn, because I've seen it so many times. Because I played the long game, like, well, okay, this is the counter here. I like that. I like the water themed creatures a lot. Like the Kraken card in blue. Oh, that's nice.
It's
Was
one
so
of the
cool.
signed ones.
Yeah, that is sick.
So it's one of those art cards.
You gotta put that in a sleeve, dude.
Yep. I gotta put a lot of these in sleeves.
Yeah.
I was waiting to buy the
some.
Final Fantasy sleeves for these.
Oh, they have their own. Nice. Okay. I might want. Yeah. A lot of my friends are addicted to purchasing these right now, and so I'm going to become a Dirty Magic player over the summer. That is my my final summer plan, and tied into gaming.
Yeah.
So, we need to find a way to get together with Drew and have a Lords of the Ring versus Final Fantasy fight.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Dream it. Yeah.
So yeah, Magic the Gathering Arena is also it is a good tool for being able to play online with people. I haven't done it enough, and I haven't played with people I know yet. So it'd be cool. All right. So that's the games Casey's been playing. Jesse, what you been playing?
Okay, so I've been playing more of Squeakross Home Squeak Home. I last week I mentioned that there was like 2 catalogs. Each catalog is your library of puzzles, and once you beat the puzzle once, you can play a harder version of the same puzzle on a second tab. So the first book basically has 300 puzzles, 150 doubled. So I finished them. I started the second book. There's, I think, 175 different puzzles for 350 total. And I think that's all of the puzzles in the game, but still, it's over 600 puzzles. It's for 15 or 20 bucks. It definitely,
Yeah.
And I have not come across any additional glitches or problems, so I'm okay with that. The only thing I don't like about it, and it's just a nitpicky, is Jupiter keeps everything in multiples of 5. So 15 by 15, 10 by 15, 10 by 20, whatever. And if it's something that would be 5 by 16, they just have 4 rows of zeros.
Okay.
This game doesn't do that. This one will give you 12 by 16, some oddball things. And
Yeah.
you have an option to say, keep the dividing bars in groups of 5, which works except for if there are 6. So if in that 16, it goes group of 5, group of 5, group of 6, instead of group of 5, group of 5, group of 5, group of 1. So sometimes that messes up my row counting because I'm thinking it's 15, but no, it's really 16. So you're off by 1. So you have to be, so just that's,
So you got to have
again,
a different mindset when you're playing it.
You just have to be extra careful counting. It's because if it's, if it's 15 and the clues are 6, 6, I know exactly where they are. I've done that zillion times. I don't have to think about it. But if it's a 6 and a 6 on a 16, I've got to recount it and recalculate everything. Okay. So it's just.
Gotcha. So don't go from a Jupiter game to this game.
Well, just be careful. If it's not if the size is an oddball size, you just have to slow down a little bit.
Gotcha.
And that's it. And then this weekend I did a stream of about an hour and a half of Deltarune. It does come with all 4 chapters. And in fact, it asks up front, do you want to start chapter 1? I said no, because I wanted to jump right into 3, because I've played 1 and 2 before.
Okay.
And the downside is I bumped into a soft lock. And
oh no.
After doing a Google search on it, found out I wasn't the only person that came across that issue. It also existed in the Steam version. And the Steam version may have already been patched, but I don't know if the Switch version has had an update. Actually, I could look real quick to see if it's had an update. It is 101, but I just don't know when it was updated. If it was that a day 1 update, or was that updated recently? I'm not sure. I didn't look at the version when I played it.
Okay.
So I'm kind of holding off on continuing it until hopefully that's been fixed, but so each chapter kind of has a different type of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
As the overall theming of the chapter. In this one, you're basically stuck in a game show where you're dealing with an annoying host. And, you originally y'all didn't want to be there, but you gotta get talked into it. And
there's a monster like that in Undertale, right? Where there's a game show.
Never played Undertale.
So what?
I can't answer that.
That seems like a Jesse game to me when I think of Undertale.
I played the first hour and pretty much stopped it there. That's because it didn't click with me. But I have seen a lot of the Matt Pat game theory videos and whatnot on it over the years. Okay, so part of when you're doing the game show part is you actually go into a room and you play a game within a game. So your 3 characters are playing sitting on a couch, playing on a console, and you got little mini avatars of yourselves running around in the screen that looks like Link's Awakening. And at one point, and each character gets their own ability. So my character gets to choose when to move to the next screen and has another ability. One of the other characters, the bully character in your group, finds the ability to pick up things and throw them. So originally it was pots and bushes, and she was kind of bored with that, and came across a puzzle that she couldn't solve. So when the host wasn't looking, she swapped your controller with hers. So you then solved the puzzle. But the third party member didn't know this happened. So she's still praising the other girl about how good she's solving the puzzle when you're the one doing it. And then they realize does realize what's going on, and she says, "Let's change you around too. It'll be fun." So they're all messed up, and she goes, "I'll keep this until there's something cool to throw. Then I'll switch things back." And literally the next screen, you find bombs. She goes, "Oh, I'm wanting to switch back again. I want the bombs." So it was humorous. I thought it was funny.
The Toby Fox games tend to be pretty funny. Like
Yeah.
Undertale is very funny. That sounds just part of the course.
Yeah, Becca's
Yes.
asking if I'm enjoying Deltarune despite not playing Undertale. Yeah, I did enjoy it. I may not be getting all the subtle references and nods, but the game stands on its own. It's still fine. Definitely it is not required, but I understand you are meant to have played Undertale first.
Got it.
So I get that and know what I'm getting myself into. So I do want to finish 3 before starting 4. So I'm kind of waiting to see if the thing gets patched out.
Gotcha. Hopefully before 4 comes out.
Well, 4 is out now. 3
Oh,
and 4
4
came
is
out
out.
at the same
That's
time.
right. That's right.
Yeah, and then
It's
there's
5 that we're waiting for.
Yeah, 5, 6, and 7 are in the future.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool.
That's my list.
So what I've been playing more of the Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess. There's a first look out again on our channel for that. It's a strategy game where you have to set up, it's basically, let's see if I get this right, because it's hard to explain. You are a samurai summoned by the goddess to help clear a mountain that's been defiled by evil spirits.
Is this an isekai?
Probably.
Everything is an isekai.
Are you summoned from another world?
It's
or
I don't know yet. I don't know that part of the story yet.
Were you a girl trapped as a teenage boy trapped as a slime?
It is linked to the Okami world too. So
it's an isekai. We nailed it. You got it, boys.
Because when Arceus first launched, I did a first look on that, and that was the first thing I said. I'm like, this game is a damn isekai.
Nice. You guys will have to teach me more about that. So, anyways, it is basically again, there's some strategy that goes along with it because there's some action elements where I'm using the samurai to defend the demons that are coming after the princess or the goddess. And the goddess, I have to clear a path for that goddess to go close the gate where the demons are coming from. And then when we clear the village or rescue the villagers in the village, we can use the villagers to help also protect the princess or the goddess from the demons that are coming after her, because she's the one that can close the gate. So there's kind of like a tower defense in a way where you have to use the villagers to give them abilities to be able to either be like they use an axe to attack the demons, or they use bow and arrows to attack the demons. That's where I'm at so far. And I don't know if there's other abilities yet. I haven't gotten to yet, but it is a different game, and I like different. It's fun. It's keeping me engaged. Essentially have to clear the mountain, and I'm learning more about the story. One of the other things that I got, because we did a Let's Play or a first look at it, Capcom actually reached out to us and said, hey, we want to send you, the person who's doing the review or the first look, something that goes with the game, something physical. So Justin got my information and said, yeah, send it to this guy. He's the one who's doing it. So I got that, and it's actually part of the Japan's collector edition of the game. It came with this box, and inside this box there's an art book. So it comes with that, where you get all the like art that comes with the game that was designed, all in there. Very
nice.
Yeah,
very
really
heavy.
Cool.
This is done by the same guy. I talked about this before about the other game I liked that I can't remember the name of. It's the underwater game. The artist that did that one. Yes. No, not Subnautica. It's a Capcom game. I played it and I can't remember the name. It was one of my favorites too. I can never remember because again, it's
Echo
another
the Dolphin. Nailed it. No, okay.
it's another Japanese name, and I can't. It doesn't stick to my brain, so I can't remember.
Into the Depths?
Isekai, Into the Depths.
Yes, thank you. Isekai. Yes, and it came with this. This is on the cover, but this is a wood plaque with the same design. It's textured and very, very cool, and it has some also wood cutouts that you can put together and make little dioramas with the villagers and
nice.
some of the characters in the game. You can have a little make it all set up. So this is part of the collector's edition. When you go buy it in Japan, they don't have this here in the US, and Capcom said, here you go, you can have this for as a thank you for doing a first look at the game and more. So I was going to show that off in the timeout section, but I figured I'd talk about it when I talked about the game. So it's very cool. So thank you, Capcom, for sending that out. And I will be doing another, either I might do I can't think of the word at the moment. A streaming. I might stream the game. Just to show off some more gameplay and stuff.
Yeah.
And just hang out with people who have questions about it. Also been playing Mario Kart World, more of that with the community, which is a blast. People are getting better and better at the game, and I'm not playing enough to get better and better, and they're obviously winning more when I play against the community. So, but again, it's just a matter of going into the different tracks, finding out the little secrets and shortcuts, and also the ability to pick the right carts and how I play to be able to get, first place. Been able to hold my own some of the times, but other times it's just a matter of being able to protect myself from getting bombarded by all the shells and stuff that get thrown at you, especially if you're in the lead. Also playing Chronicles of the Wolf. I did a first look on that. That is a Castlevania type game. And it is, if you like the earlier Castlevania type games, I would say kind of like Castlevania 4 or the Game Boy games, I think. Game Boy Advance games. Any of those type of Castlevania games, if you like those. So far, that's what it feels like. I maybe even towards some of the DS games. It might feel like those type of Castlevanias, but that's what Chronicles of the Wolf is. It's got a pretty good rating. It's in the high 70s so far, at least from what I've seen.
Kind of reminds me of the Super Nintendo one a little bit too.
Yes. So that's Castlevania 4 I was referring to.
Yeah,
Unless you're talking about the other one that came out. I can't remember which one.
I don't know them by the numbers, so I'm going to trust you. Yes.
Four was the first one, but they did come out with another one, but I don't remember which one it was. I don't think it was Symphony because that was PlayStation.
It was
Ronin or something like that.
It was like it was kind of loosely based on Rondo of Blood, but it was
Rondo.
Not a
Those are
good.
Chronicles.
One on...
It was just like Xenoblade X or something.
Chronicles
I mean, something X or something.
X Chronicles or Chronicles X or something like that.
I don't think the Chronicles was in it. No, I want to look it up.
Castlevania something X. But yeah, Chronicles of Wolf.
The SNES Mini, and it reminds me of that. That's the only way I can describe it to someone I know.
That would have been 4, I think.
Yes, you're
Castlevania Dracula X.
Dracula X. That's what it was. Yeah.
Apparently, someone has it on eBay for $1,500.
Do it. No, okay. Like someone's
closed in box. All right, that makes sense. All right, Chronicles of the Wolf. Again, if you're a Castlevania fan and want to play like the classic type of Castlevanias after 4, but before they started changing up a little bit of the formula in the DS games, check out Chronicles of the Wolf. Nintendo Switch 2, welcome to where playing more of that, just at my own pace, just knocking out some stuff.
I need to get back into that. I haven't touched it since my stream.
One of the things that I wanted to bring up about this, that's why I added to my list, was I learned something very cool about the HD Rumble, that it actually will play sounds.
Oh,
It actually plays I won't say what sounds in case you want to, if you play it and you want to play it yourself and figure out what sounds they are. I'll just say that it plays sounds. You could very distinctive sounds that you know what it is they're playing, and it's very Nintendo sounds.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I'm but
guessing the
they
coin
use them
sound
as
from Mario.
speakers. They use them like speakers. So somehow through the rumble feature.
Well, they're able to
or vibration.
They're able to control the frequency of the vibration at each moment and turn it into something that audible. Like I remember, Golf Story did it. It made it sound like in the spooky golf course. It made it like a creepy laughing sound out of the HD Rumble. Nice. I'm like, that is amazing.
I can't remember who on our community said it, but they said that the Switch 1 could also do it, but nobody utilized it.
Yeah.
Except for, I guess, Golf Story. So, but yeah, it was really cool to see that. I was like, oh, I didn't know it could do that. So it was pretty sweet. And then Lost in Random, the Eternal Die, the sequel to Lost in Random. I've been playing that. There's a first look out on our channel for that. I've been playing more beyond what I played in the first look. I'll probably also do either a Let's Play or a stream of this game because it is a lot of fun. It is different from the first game to where this is a roguelite game instead of more of a deck builder game. Although you use cards, but not in the same way that you did in Lost in Random. You use the die you get as well, but this is more action-y game with Lost in Random. I didn't play Hades, but it's at the same angle, 2.5 angle or isometric angle as Hades is. And I have a feeling that it might have some of those same elements as Hades does. But again, I didn't play it enough to know if it does or not. But
I haven't tried this yet, but those aren't good things for me. But
yeah, I know you don't usually. The story is great.
I still plan on giving this one a try.
Story is great. I got a little confused, and you'll probably hear that in the first look. I thought it was continuing the role as the girl that was in the first game.
Oh, you play the villain.
You play the queen as the girl as when she was a girl.
Yeah.
So and it threw me off because you had the die with you, the same die I think that was with the girl, unless it was her own version, the black die version. But I was still a little confused on the lore.
I haven't played this game, but I've seen a video that they put out to catch you up on what the lore is. And so I don't know if this is the same dicey as from the first game, but it definitely is not
it's not the girl.
Purified black die. It is a different die than that.
Yeah. She kept calling him Fortune. So I thought that was the same die that was in the first one was Fortune. I thought it was the same name.
No, she called him Dicey. But of course, he could have been called Fortune by someone else in the past. I don't know.
Maybe it was the Queen's die. It was originally. But again, the first game ends off. If you didn't watch it, you can watch the ending from other people, or if you go play it, I won't ruin it for you. But there's an ending to the first game to where this kind of plays into, which is why you're the queen in this game, and you're playing to get out of this realm that you're in, and that's what the roguelite elements are. Is basically you do a run. You have to get through generative board levels. You got to get through the maze of things and unlock. It's where you unlock some things. It is roguelite again, so there's ability to be able to collect things that you can take back in the world where you reset yourself to go make another run. So you get things you can collect and be able to get better weapons and better things on your skill tree to be able to go back in and have a better chance of making a longer run. So that I like roguelites better because of that, whereas opposed to roguelikes where you just come back and you get to start off with nothing again. You got to start fresh. But this one allows you to be able to build up on some things, and I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. It's my go-to game right now that I keep going back to. Lost in Random, the Eternal Die. So Let's see, Mecha Dragon. The original Joy-Cons did that to you, Tim. Oh, you must have been talking about the HD Rumble. Again, I didn't know it did that too. And I mentioned that somebody in the community mentioned that. And I didn't play any games that utilized it. And that's what he said too, that it was underutilized. So, all right. That's what we've been playing. Let's jump to the community spotlight. All right, community spotlight. Just want to remind everybody we have been getting some monthly mayhems going again. I think the recent one just ended or will be ending shortly by the time you're listening to this, probably. So, but the next one we're planning on doing is a Mario Kart World monthly mayhem. So stay tuned. And if you're not in our Discord, that's where we set up the rules and play it. So, and thanks to our friend Zablock, who's been setting those up and keeping track of that information for us. So thank you, Zablock, for doing that. And so stay tuned also in our Mayhem After Dark channel, now that that's what it's named, for more details on the monthly Mayhem there.
So Blanc, also very good fantasy football player. I gotta give him his kudos. He's the only one that I'm like, dang, he always takes players I like. So I'm like, man.
Right?
Yeah.
So we got a couple questions in here. And Jesse, did we get a voicemail? I thought I saw a voicemail come through.
It was 30 seconds of silence.
Okay. Yay, silent voicemails.
Yeah, it actually said
no creepy breathing.
You guys got my voicemail. That was my prank call. Got him, boys. All right. No.
Google Voice actually said, "We think this is spam. Let us know if you think it's a spam too." I'm like, thanks, Google. You're a help.
Silent spam. So that's what it's going to be called now. Silent spam. All right.
It's just Pam. It's just Pam. The S is silent.
Haha. Zablock asked, speaking of Zablock, he asked, if you had to pick one lifetime to live besides your own, whose would you choose? You can't just say I like my own life or anything like that. And he gave us choices. You have to pick one of these. An athlete's life, LeBron James, Derek Jeter, or Tom Brady. An actor's life, Paul McCartney, Slash, or one of the Daft Punk guys.
I think
an actor's life,
cross lines.
Tom Cruise. What?
I thought you said actor's life, but then read the musician's examples.
Maybe I did. So, all right. An actor's life, Tom Cruise, Morgan Freeman, and Chris Pratt. A musician's life, Paul McCartney, Slash, and one of the Daft Punk guys. And a wrestler's life, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, or Bret Hart. Who would you pick to?
I was gonna pick my smart answer of Jesus, but he took that away with his category.
Yes, he had choices.
So we have to pick one. Who would I choose?
I don't think we're necessarily limited to these four. The only limit was you can't just say mine.
You have to pick one. Don't try to weasel out of this one. This time, you stinkers, and I'm giving you a lot of choices. So I took it as he gave us choices to pick from.
Yeah, I think we could use one of the four. I think that we'll just stay with them. What about you, Tim? You guys have thought? Do you know who you'd pick?
It was very hard to pick, but I would probably pick one of the Daft Punk guys because.
Oh, really?
I did DJing in the past, and it was a lot of fun. I always thought it'd be kind of fun in this day and age to do kind of that again with TikTok and all that kind of stuff, doing DJing there, Twitch. So it would have been kind of cool to live the life of one of the Daft Punk guys, especially with being able to do the Tron movie as a
For
soundtrack.
Real, that'd be pretty rad.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
What about you, Jesse?
Oh, trying to think of an answer, I kind of went back to what I did in my youth of what I enjoyed, and it ended up being a toss up between an athlete and a musician, because I did run track, like long jump, triple jump, 100 meters, and I played cello, string bass, percussion, was involved in multiple summer musicals, whatnot. So, I don't think, I couldn't think of any specific person to pick within those groups, but just, being able to like run or be involved in music again in some form, I think would probably would be where I would have landed if I didn't choose the technology path.
Nice.
But they're not one musician, so okay.
You could pick it. You could pick if you wanted to, even though they're not on the list. I would say, is there an athlete that became an actor that you would pick?
I don't know.
Or an actor that became an athlete? Maybe there's somebody.
O.J. Simpson nailed it. Naked Gun.
Oh, I mean LeBron James. I mean he's done a little bit of acting.
Michael Jordan, Space Jam, right?
Yeah.
We got,
for me,
for going athlete actor, winner. We got Schwarzenegger.
Ooh, that would be a great choice. Actually,
there you go.
My answer was going to be the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. This is for Marty, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Like, yeah, dude, the most. Thank you. That would.
That's
be my
what Marty would have picked. Was probably Ric Flair if we didn't. Yeah,
for sure. Ric Flair would be an interesting one just because of all the bar stories you hear about Rick.
Right.
I feel like The Rock has done more for the world. I know he's kind of a shill with people in him, but he's the big bad man, dude. I love The Rock.
Or maybe Dusty Rhodes. Maybe Marty would pick Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, I think so. I think Marty, I probably would pick like Jericho, something contrarian.
I would pick Jericho because that was one of my fantasy wrestlers type thing where we used to, in my younger days we used to pick fantasy wrestlers and play a fantasy like D&D type wrestling game.
Yeah, he should be in more people's like top 10 for wrestling or even top 5. Jericho's great.
That or Triple H.
Mine would be, Triple H definitely too. Yes, just because of what he's doing now as the head, right? Like it's kind of like those players that become coaches. Yeah, like what did you do after your career? And I'd have to be The Rock.
I wouldn't mind having a life married to Stephanie McMahon either. So that'd be.
Now I know what you're into. All right.
I'm not familiar with what he's doing now, but I remember him back in the early 2000s. He made a really good heel.
Yes, he did.
He was good. He's running the show now. He is Vince McMahon now.
Okay.
Yeah, he had to with the heel part though too.
Mm-hmm.
Because in an interview I saw, he was like, there was in his time it was Rock was really big and Stone Cold was really big, and they were both kind of baby faces, if you will,
right?
For that time, for the Attitude Era. So he's like, let me just fill that void of me the heel, and he did a great job.
And The Rock was the heel for a while too.
Yeah,
that was the thing. But Triple H always played a heel for like the majority of his career, and he was one of the best.
And he has one of my.
He's like the Darth Vader of wrestling.
He's what has one of my favorite entrances too. I love that entrance. Yeah,
that's one of my favorite internet memes. Is Linda McMahon is being sworn in as the Secretary of Education, and behind her is Triple H drinking water. It's like when muscle memory kicks in, you see him like stop to swallow the water and spray it out in the middle of a congressional like swearing. Right. Those are great choices. Daft Punk would be cool too. Any musician would be cool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that Paul McCartney, that would probably be something else. That would be just living in from the start of the rock and roll time to now.
Beatles is my favorite group, so sure, why not?
Yeah. There you go.
I'm sure someone's like, I want to be the lead singer from LFO, and that is a deep cut boy band reference. That would be an interesting trait. I'm sure it'd be great.
Justin Timberlake.
Being Paul McCartney. Being Justin Timberlake would be cool. Being someone who could dance would be pretty rad. Michael Jackson, even being him, as sad as that ended, would be fascinating. Have you guys read Ready Player 2?
I haven't read that yet. No.
No.
You read the first one?
I read the first one, yeah.
So the second one, I don't want to spoil too much, but they talk about like it gets into sinking into consciousness and what the evolution of the Oasis, and you can be other people, right?
Okay.
It's very early on. Spoiler alert for those there. If you just opened Ready Player 2 and are past page 20, I apologize. For those that are reading it, hold on.
Dang it, Casey. Doggone it.
But
No, it's on
it talks
I
about,
read the first one before the movie came out. I need to read the second one before the movie comes
if
out.
you do the audiobook, Will Wheaton reads it.
Ooh, nice.
I had a coworker ask me about it. Very good. Very much more about, especially with our AI talk earlier. If you like talking about like the semantics of and the importance of AI, but you get to live. You can live those people's lives in Ready
Nice.
Player 2, and
Interesting.
I like this kind of questions because there's a lot of people that would be really fun. But
Yes.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, number one.
There you go. Nice. All right. What would we pick for Justin? Since he's not here, we get to pick it for him.
Bill Gates. Jeff Bezos.
Sure.
Oh, he
How
would have a
about-
song.
Oh, how about Iwata?
I want it.
Iwata?
Yeah, that'd be great.
What would be? Oh, Reggie.
Reggie.
I think Reggie would be
who-
a good one. That would be a good one because it's a business stuff and doing different companies, all that kind of stuff. I think Reggie would be a good one.
James Sneagle. For those of you that don't know, that's the founder of Costco. No, I think Justin would appreciate that reference too. I don't know. Or he'd be James Bond. He'd be Sean Connery. Actually, I give James Bond. That would be my actor pick for him.
All right. Awesome.
Okay, well, before
All right,
we
we
move
got
on,
one-
I want
Sure.
to do a shout out from a friend of mine from work was watching in the chat. He goes, "Have a good night, gentlemen. Good chat. I learned I do not know anything about gaming. LOL. Good conversation. I'll be back."
That's funny. That's awesome to see people that you know come in. I've got a few that jumped in or watching live, and it's kind of, I try to block it out so it doesn't mess with my mind. It's like, oh no, people I know are watching me.
Because I know my personal trainers will hop in. He won't say anything in chat, but he'll when we meet on Saturday, he says, "Yeah, I saw a little bit of your show."
Yeah. Nice. All right. Last question is Plunk E Kong asks, which announced GameCube NSO game are you most looking forward to? Super Mario Sunshine.
I note this was asked before this evening's announcement.
Yes. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers. Too late. Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, or Pokemon Coliseum.
Gale of Darkness is one of my favorite GameCube games. Sunshine gets a lot of hate, and I think it's actually very fun.
That's one of my favorite Mario games, Sunshine. So
yeah.
I was excited to get it on the.
It's definitely on the bottom of my list.
I love it.
It's a very divisive Mario game, I will say.
I can tell you why it's probably though on my top of my list is because I did not play Mario 64. I came back on Nintendo consoles, home consoles, on the GameCube. I skipped the N64. I had the Game Boy and all that, but I came in on the GameCube, and that was my first Mario back.
Gotcha. I like it just as much as Mario 64. To be honest with you, I like them equally the same. Okay. I think they're both fine games. I'm with you. I can see people really like Mario Sunshine. I'm a huge Fire Emblem fan. Path of Radiance is a missing point for me. I was very heavily into the Fire Emblem phone game, and today I saw it on like iPhone games. Like I heard the siren song, "Download me, bring me back, bring me back," and I know I spent a lot of hours into it because I do love me some Fire Emblem, and so those are the three for me. I think Luigi Mansion is overrated, and that's where I'm going to stand on that. Ugh.
All right, send your hate mail to.
Sorry, Luigi's Mansion 3 is overrated. Luigi's Mansion 3.
HR at.
Yes.
All right. No, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice, Jesse.
I know I've tried both of the Pokemon games before. Never gotten very far in them. I just remember the last time I tried Gale of Darkness, it just felt so slow. And this was before Sun and Moon came out. So I was really worried about if the tempo was going to be that slow when the games hit the 3DS. Thank God they weren't. They did fix that problem, but it just created different problems to have. But so I would say those and Chibi Robo is a game that I remember playing a little bit, but it didn't really, at the time, I didn't really understand what was going on. So maybe now that I will have more, that's one I want to do. I want to have another look at when that comes out.
Yeah, Chibi Robo for me as well. I'm interested in checking that one out. I was going to say Fire Emblem, but I'm afraid of going back to older Fire Emblems after been playing stuff like Engage.
Mm.
You know, and just
Yeah.
Because you really liked Engage, right?
I loved the game. It was the top of my list.
Awakening did change the formula up.
Yeah.
Awakening is my Giant Bomb did a thing. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I was going to put it in the Discord where everyone puts their top 10 games of the current century, which is really interesting because it cuts out Super Nintendo. So you can't be like Atari, Pong because of historic. It's like, what are the last games you really liked in 25 years? They did they did this because of the New York Times movie, top 10 movies of the last century, right? Which I would love to see people's. I'm going to start that chat in the Nintendo Dad Discord.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, I'll do that after the show. And if you
do it as a thread, if you can.
Yeah,
do it as a thread. In the Nintendo.
How to start a thread? No, kidding. Yeah, I can do that. Just tell me where.
Off the Nintendo stuff. If it's Nintendo, well, I mean, if you're talking about overall games, then maybe
I think it could be overall.
Then do it off the junk. The junk.
Okay. And the junk drawer for those that come into the channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am very much like with you on a lot of this with where these games are and the top 10 games. For me, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, because we got off there. But what do you think would be your, like, if you had to think of like 25, like which games come to your head first?
Metroid Prime.
Persona 4.
It's like what's in your stomach, right? It's very interesting to see.
God of War, the trilogy, I think. I'd have to figure out what order, or not even the trilogy, actually, the trilogy and the PSP games. PSP and PS. I think they were both PSP. All the God of War games up to 3, right? Before they redid it with the 2016 version or 2018 version, whichever version that was. The dad version.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I think it was 2018.
So probably God of War 3 would be in there somewhere for sure, because that really solidified it for me. So that would be in there. Jesse, your favorite game that you got me to play and you kept talking about for years.
Which one is that?
I remember why we're talking about this.
The
Fire Emblem Awakening.
The library one. The literature club. Literature club.
Oh, Doki Doki. Yes.
Yes.
That was the game actually I was thinking of earlier. Not Detective Club. The Doki Doki. Wait, isn't Doki Doki Detective Club? Aren't they similar?
No.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
definitely
Doki Doki
not.
Literature Club would be on that list, I think. For me as well.
Yeah.
But that's a story-driven game, right?
Yeah, it looks like a
wall.
It looks like a visual novel dating sim until it's not.
It's a horror game, right?
Yes.
Fourth wall breaking.
Sorry.
Yep. Messes with it. It's fantastic, especially if you've. For me, I've never played a game like that before, and it was just like it blew my mind. So it was just like that's why.
What games could do. That's it for me. But Fire Emblem Awakening was on that for me. And it was because I'm such a simpleton. The big mechanic about the kids coming back from the future if you make the relationship good enough in Awakening.
No,
Right,
I've
like-
never played Awakening.
Okay, so that's why I guess Luciania from from Smash Brothers, her whole character exists because the main character in Awakening, Chrome, he makes a girlfriend, and it's them coming back. There's this like, it's basically Terminator 2. Hey, I'm from the future. This is dystopian future. But the other thing you can do in the game, you can have any of the female characters can partner up with any of their male characters, and they have a offspring set to them that can join your team. And then the subtle little thing, let's say the male character you choose is orange hair. That sprite will have an orange hair thing. But let's say, second player, I do it with this green haired guy. Same sprite, guess what color its hair is? Green. And that just blew me away, like the subtle details. I was like, they did not. They did it for everything. When you think of Hades and like the unique dialogue too, right, for each person, it just made me fall. It made Fire Emblem a dating sim. And it always kind of was, but this was like the first time you're like, hey, go for it.
Yeah, Dragon Quest V did something similar. That's basically a multi-generational story.
Right.
Midway through the game, you pick a wife. In the original game, you had 2 options. With the DS remake, you had 3 options. And then later on down the road, there's a set of twins based on, and the hair will vary depending on which wife you picked.
Yeah, I love it. And 5 was SNES time, right?
Yes.
So they also did. There was Fire Emblem. There's a Fire Emblem that came out on the SNES that also did this thing too, with like the birthing thing. But so yeah, for me, like the reason when you said Fire Emblem Awakening, that's what made me think of the top 10 games. And for me, like the best Mario game of the last 20 years is Super Mario Galaxy 2. I really had to think about it. I have to have a Mario game on there, and I think Galaxy 2 takes a cake. That's my number 1.
Nice. I was trying to think of a Marvel thing that did that too, with the 2 superheroes having
Cable,
a kid.
X-Men, Cable. That's Cable's whole thing is Final Fantasy Tactics is also on my list, and so is Baldur's Gate 3 and Sleeping Dogs. That was the other one that my friends were like. I remember going to go, I know you like Sleeping Dogs. I didn't know you loved it.
Yeah, you need to put that out there. Yeah, put that out there, and we'll love to see what other people's lists are in our Discord for sure. So
I don't even think I know what that one game is.
The what game?
Sleeping Dogs?
Oh yeah, that was a PlayStation thing, wasn't it?
It was PlayStation, Xbox 360. It's open
Wii U
world like Grand Theft Auto with Kung Fu.
Wii U had it as well, didn't it? Because you were able to use the
I think
pad.
so. And then their definitive edition. It's like on Steam. It became like it's a cult classic. You know how there's cult classic movies? I would say that this. No, it's not. It's on Mac, PS4, PS3, Windows, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and it's on Steam. Let me check Wii U. There's a game that it's a sequel to. Oh, what's the game? LA Cop. GameCube game. It was a game. I remember this actually. It's funny. True Crime. So it was originally that was it. True Crime was what it was pitched as because it was the same developers of True Crime LA, and that was their sequel. It was a studio in Montreal. I remember they brought in George St. Pierre, the UFC fighter, because they couldn't figure out the physics on this spinning back kick. And they showed him, and he said, "Oh, this." In 1 second, he said, "This is why you're doing it wrong." He only had to see it one time, right? They did the like behind the scenes footage for it. This was when I was working at GameStop when I saw this game, and Sleeping Dogs rules.
I was thinking of Watch Dogs. That's what was on Wii U.
Yes, Watch Dogs is the hacker game, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. That's a game that's escaped me too. That's kind of on my backlog. I've heard that's an interesting one to play.
Very cool. Anything else, gentlemen, before we close out the show? All right.
Other than during the post show, we'll talk about isekai, I guess, because you seem confused about what that term means.
Isekais. Anime talk.
Is this anime thing? Yeah, I was going to say it's
an anime thing.
All right.
Is this the Harry Potter? Is this the wizard boy?
All right. First, a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, Jacqueline Amira, and our anonymous Patreon producer, and our other 100 plus Patreons. Next, a special thank you to our 17 Twitch subscribers and over 1,476 Twitch followers, and a shout out to our 8,105 YouTube subscribers. On our road to 10,000, folks. Keep it coming. Thank you to everybody who's participating and helping us out by doing all of these things, either by subscribing over at Patreon, subscribing on Twitch or YouTube, or wherever, or liking our podcast, leaving reviews, doing all these things, liking our videos. All those things help us out and be able to do these things, and also get things from Capcom like this and be able to talk about it with you guys and get extra codes like we did last week and give away codes for games. So thank you. Check out our website at nintendodads.org for a list of Nintendo Dads family of podcasts, or our other recommended podcasts like Star Wars Dads, Mega Dads, Dad Crossing, Retro Logic, and their family of podcasts. All kinds of podcasts that we recommend. Go check that out, a list there. Or our latest YouTube videos and tweets, links to all of our social media, Patreon, and Extra Life pages, and a link to our merchandise, Nintendo Dads merch. So not only can you get to it through the bottom here in the YouTube video if you're watching live right now or watching later, you can see all our merch down there. You can go to nintendodads.org/merch and see the kind of merchandise we have there. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, manscaped.com. Get 20% off your Manscaped order with free shipping with the code NINDADS, NINDADS. That's NINDADS, NINDADS at manscaped.com. Again, for 20% off your Manscaped order and free shipping. Email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music throughout the show. Download from your favorite podcast app of choice, and please leave us a 5-star review and a comment. In fact, there was a comment we got in one of them, and I responded. So we try to respond whenever we get those. And thanks for taking the time to send us a comment. Until next time, for me, for Jesse, for Casey, thanks for coming on again, Casey. And for Justin and Marty, who are not on because they are slacking. We'll check you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Do you know who I am? Nintendo Dads Podcast.